Hello, Joss Tufnell here, and today we're going to go for a walk in nature and have a little reflection on the power of simplicity. I'm going to try and talk about it simply, not make it too complicated. Simplicity is a powerful way to work on your life and your state. A state of true presence reflects simplicity. It can see clearly and without complications. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it was Confucius that said, simplicity leads to relaxation. And it really does. And a lot more, I think. Let's just turn around and look at this tree. Simplicity leads to being relaxed, calm, natural, positive, unified, harmonious, and fully present, fully aware. It's an integral part of it. A life of simplicity flows freely in the here and now, without complications. It's not inhibited by complications because it's simple. In the Yuan Tze I teach, we talk about treasures of life, and they are health, happiness, sense of well-being, development of realization, development of wisdom, and helping others and the earth. Now, what a clear, simple definition of the important things in life. And simplicity can help us achieve those things because it's an integral part of them. A simple life close to nature has always been important to me, right from the very earliest age. I've made it a priority in life. There's a pure simplicity and beauty in nature that I feel a deep love, gratitude, respect and awe for. Nature is life, and we are nature. Mother Nature is truly a great teacher. She helps guide me home to myself, to beauty, to health, to life. Simplicity creates space in life for contemplation, for self-awareness, so that we can have some control over our life experience. Oh, an ash tree now. When we simplify our focus into the present moment, life is simple. When this is difficult, we can simplify the many thoughts we have into one. Into this single point of focus. When we do that, it helps calm the mind. And this is often used in Qigong and meditation techniques to help reach a calm state. Simplicity helps create the space for us just to be present, to be in the present. And this in turn allows us to access things like creativity and inspiration. And actually what I'm doing right now is a little bit more complicated than I'd hoped, because I'm trying to think and talk and film. So I'm going to find a little place to sit down. Our true self is innocent, it's pure and simple. And so it's something to strive for. Finding simplicity inside ourselves provides the clarity in which we find meaning. It is the removal of the unnecessary and the peeling back of the layers that prevent us from truly being ourselves. What I'm doing now is an example of simplicity. Walking in lush spring nature, reflecting and enjoying life. Having the time to be without needing to do. And it's easy to feel very grateful for this moment right here and now. Simplicity helps us bring value to life. Value is hard to come by. It's hard when it's in the complex way of living that so many of us live. We're always doing and never having time for what is truly important. It's important to spend time really being present with Mother Nature, our great teacher, and with loved ones. Ask yourself what you love and let yourself have it. And I'm not talking there about just following your emotions, your every whim. Talking about something quite different. And by that I mean, I'm not suggesting, following every desire, but more going deep inside your true self, going deep inside yourself to find your true self, asking what is important for life. What really matters when it really comes down to the essentials. We must learn to know ourselves. I'm still moving around a bit. I think it's a bit more interesting. Humanity is one with nature, not something separate. So it really is very simple. I think how to live more simply and in harmony with nature is one of the many lessons that COVID-19 is teaching us. I've got some quotes somewhere in here. Not that I'll be able to find them now. We must learn to look to nature, to let go of what we don't need, and prioritise what we value. Learn to say learn to say no, basically, to what doesn't serve life, what doesn't serve nature. When I was living in the New Zealand bush a few years ago, leading quite a simple life, a friend gave me a book called Walden by Henry David Thoreau. I was living in the New Zealand bush myself for a few years, and in the book Thoreau describes an experiment in simple living in which he's sort of solitary and just tries to live simply alone in nature. So he talks about the importance of not frittering away your life to detail. And I can't find the quote, but it's very true. It's like, life passes us by when we're lost in the complications of detail, the detail of things that aren't very important. I'm not saying we need to live in an isolated fashion all the time, but that can help teach us to go inside and find what is important and see how simple things really are. We can see how nature lives in harmony, and how we can apply that to ourselves and our own lives. Simplicity is letting go of what doesn't serve. It's being satisfied and happy with whatever we have. Doesn't matter if we're rich or poor. I've never been rich in money, but I have had time for what's important in life. And I've lived a life filled with privileges that probably a lot of rich people struggle to obtain. By living simply, we can save money and therefore have less need to earn and more time to spend doing what is important. And then our precious life energy can be spent doing what matters by removing the excess from our lives. Simplicity helps understanding. It allows us to focus better, and it increases belief and builds confidence. If you think about it, when you truly understand something, you're also able to express it simply too, because it's simple to you. The value of simplicity has been known by the great sages for years and years. I enjoy reading Lao Tzu, for example, and in the Tao Te Ching there are so many different references to simplicity. Leonardo da Vinci said that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So I think it's really time that we learn to embody this as a species, because it will help to save ourselves and our planet. Our external state sort of dictates, well, our internal state dictates our external state and vice versa. The internal and the external are one. They reflect each other. Simplicity manifests internally and externally, and so we can work with simplicity in both ways. We can try to embody simplicity as a way of being and seeing life. I think a good way to do this, and this is certainly what we use in Qigong, is to start from your heart and to let that expand into your life. To love openly, to have a pure heart, is the manifestation of emotional simplicity. Think about that. Simplicity is a result of qualities like courage, forgiveness, acceptance, patience, reconciliation, honor, compassion and connection, and certainly the 5 Shin that we use in Qigong, trust, openness, love, gratitude, and true respect. Manifesting these qualities is essential to deal with the physical, mental, and emotional qualities that, the clutter, the physical, mental, and emotional clutter. It is best to start with ourselves, with those heart qualities. For example, if you take forgiveness and then look in your life and see where you need to use forgiveness in your life, starting with yourself. See where you've fallen short and accept it with compassion. Learn from it and write it where you can. And then it's easier to expand out to forgiving others and so on. Forgiveness just in itself can give true freedom. But I won't go into that right now. Maybe another day. If we have less physical possessions and clutter, we have more space. We need less time to maintain it. And we don't need to work so hard to have money. We don't need to work so hard to maintain everything and keep up with society. This helps create calm and more time. And it's a sort of self-feeding, constructive cycle. The effects of clutter on us have even been measured now, because measuring is something that we're very good at in society right now, in our current age. And mess has proven to be a stress factor. Clear space helps a clear mind. But we can feel that to be true anyway, I think. So we can work on our external environment too, bringing simplicity into considering the clothes we actually need to wear, the food we need to eat, limiting our technology, and our habits in using the technology. As a human race, we need to let go of what doesn't serve and to learn to know ourselves. We can also create simple, healthy routines and patterns around things that have to be done. So then they're not a stress, but part of how life flows naturally. Looking looking holistically at life. Things that reflect health and life development negatively can literally just be removed from life. That's what we can try to do. Unhealthy habits and patterns that don't serve can be removed and replaced by something that does serve. As the saying goes, less is more. When we lose something that's not beneficial to life, we gain. And I think a similar thing applies in the information age that we're living in. If we can simplify the information overload, then the answers will often come to us anyway, because then we have a more pure, simple state of openness and reception. The answers are all in the here and now. And if we can simplify and go inside, then we can find that access to our connection to the universe inside. When we remove the things that don't serve, life suddenly becomes easier and more joyful. To create what we want in life, we need to clear out everything we don't want. Impure desires, they create complexity, selfishness, greed, apathy, self-centeredness, emotional desires and emotional pollution. If we can get rid of some of those, then we'll have more health, happiness, sense of well-being, more growth, not only as individuals, but for our planet. I think a true desire is to help yourself, others, and the world. This is the only desire that really makes any sense. And it's a manifestation of experiencing the world simply and with a true heart and mind. So probably what I want to say, and I can't find the Lao Tzu quote that I wrote down, but I do have one by the Dalai Lama that we'll just finish with. And that one says, if one's life is simple, contentment has to come. Simplicity is extremely important for happiness. Having few desires, feeling satisfied with what you have is very vital. And that's a quote by the Dalai Lama. So hope you've enjoyed our little bluebell wood walk through the oaks and ash, and see you next time. Thank you very much.